She's also representing Nepali Women in Computing in this session, who is our amazing partner and outreach partner for this event. Over to you, Irina.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you again. My name is Irina, and thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. I am from Nepal, and as you said, I have been working with the Nepali Women in Computing for some time, empowering women. Okay. Yeah. So I am with Microsoft right now. I'm working at Microsoft as a research project manager. Before Microsoft, I did my undergrad in electronics and communications engineering, and then I came to the US to pursue my master's degree at Stanford University. I graduated, and then I got a job at Microsoft as a contract. That is kind of the shorter version of my job search journey. However, like the iceberg that hit Titanic, there was a lot that was underneath, and only a small portion was seen outside, which was I got a job. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my experience, and hopefully this will help you in your journey of getting the job. Actually, I'm also back in the job search journey because COVID happened, life happened, and my contract got shortened. So I empathize with everyone who just graduated or who is looking for a job right now, and how difficult it is to navigate the space right now amidst this pandemic. I know everyone has their fair share of struggle with finding their first jobs, and so did I. I had my fair share of going through the struggles, navigating the space, giving my interviews, and finally getting that job. I graduated last year, and around this time last year, I was looking for my first job. Going back to my experience of finding that job, there were a few things that really helped me find it. And the first one that helped me was understanding what kind of job I wanted to do after my graduation. So there were a few routes I could take. I could take user experience researcher, designer, as an instructional designer. I could go about with programming and so on. So that was the first thing I tried to navigate, and it would be super helpful for you too if you understand what kind of companies you want to work at, big, small, startups, NGOs, and also the geography. I totally understand that the job search phase can be super overwhelming and intimidating, and especially for international students who have these time restrictions, who have other legal restrictions to go through. And I was on the same boat last year. My master's program was 1 year, so I had to figure everything out in that 1 year program. And the first thing I did that really helped me navigate was talking to my alumni. So I talked to them about what kind of companies they're working at, what kind of jobs they're doing, and how did they reach there. So this really helped me navigate the space and see where I wanted to go next. And that was the first, I would say, a good step that I took. And the second thing that helped me to start early on was getting internships or graduate assistantships. So I had come to the US first time just from a master's program, so I did not have experience working in the United States. And so I quickly realized I needed to understand how things worked here, how to just talk to people, how to get that internship. And this was important not just to show on my resume, but also to grow my professional experience, to grow professionally, personally, and to see how things work differently or similarly in terms of companies, work that is done here and back home. So I started looking for relevant internships, and over my 1-year period of my master's program, I got to do 4 internships, 1 each quarter, and this really, really helped me to when it got to the interview stages, talking to the hiring managers, talking to the recruiters about my experiences. I could show that I had done here in the US as well, and I could definitely show it in my resume as well. So if you have done your internships, graduate research, or assistantships, or anything as such, definitely, and not just during your program, but outside of it as well, always like take advantage of it. Make sure you leverage that experience in your resume, in your cover letters, and also while talking to, while giving your interviews and talking to recruiters, hiring managers, and so on. Yeah. And the third thing, and I would say this is one of the main things that while searching for a job is important, is networking. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of networking when you're searching for a job. I have talked to so many people about their job search journeys and how did they get there, and so many people have gotten their jobs through networking rather than just applying online. And I was one of them who got my first job through networking. However, when I first started applying for jobs before my graduation, I also took the normal route of just like applying online, sending my resumes, my cover letters, but I never got back a response from them. I would apply like so many companies, but I would rarely get any response, and that to like rejections. And some of them I would get after months, after 2 months, and I would be like, when did I even apply to this job? So it goes, I feel like it goes to this black hole. But when you're networking with people, it reaches the recruiters, and you get at least to somewhere in the interview process. However, this may not be the case for everyone. I've heard people who have also gotten jobs only through applying online, and I would say they're very lucky people. But I would really try to emphasize the importance of networking here. And it makes sense, like there would be so many people applying for the same job, especially for big tech companies and so on, and you really need to stand out in some ways. And to do that, I tried by talking to people and applying through the referral system. As I was talking to my alumni, they introduced me to this referral system where people working inside the company would refer you for as a potential candidate for a position, and this helps you get noticed, and at least your resume will be read by a human being, and then it goes on from there. If you're a match, then you get a phone call. If you're not, then you get a rejection email. And this referral process has helped me get noticed as well for some of the initial phone calls, and especially in the big tech companies, I have found it super helpful. The second way of networking is would be just asking your first connections to connect with their connections. For example, if you want to work or if you want to talk to someone at a company and you don't know anyone there, you can ask your first connections to sort of connect you, and they can connect you with them, and so on. So just talking to these people, my first connections, second connections, and getting that referral process in, I got to some of the interview stages. I got a few phone calls, and for one of the big tech companies, I also reached my final interview stage. It was about this time last year that I reached in the final stage of that big company, and I was so excited. It was my first big tech company final interview, and I did some heavy research on the company and the company culture. I was all prepared, like what I was going to say for the interview. I did research on the Glassdoor, the company side, and everything. I made sure I had the perfect outfit for the interview, and I flew to my interview destination. And I had to give about 2.5 or 3 hours interview, which I did with multiple people, and I thought I did pretty good. Like I was very confident. I gave all the right answers, and and definitely at the end of the interview of 2.5, 3 hours, I was definitely tired, but it was all worth it as you feel that satisfied and really good about your interview and hoping that you're going to land this job. So I flew back, waited for the decision, and after a few days, I got an email saying I actually did not get the job. And I did not know why. Like, I didn't get a response. I was shattered. I thought I did so well, but unfortunately, I didn't get the job at that point, and I didn't get a reasoning. So it took me. So I had to go back to start. To the square one. I didn't have any other interviews lined up at this point, and my 90-day period had already started. I had used about 30 days of that window period, so my time was like ticking. So I had to find something very fast now. So it took me a few days to get over that fact and just get going. And that is where I started doing networking of the third kind of networking, which is on LinkedIn. I made sure that my profile was ready on LinkedIn. It was all updated and everything. And I just started writing to people, like cold call messages and connections with them. I would just write, hi, I just graduated and I'm looking for something. I'm looking for a job. I would love to connect with you. And this was a total numbers game for me. I would write to about 10 people, for example, and I would get connected to like 4 of them, and 1 of them only would reply back to me, and I would sort of continue that conversation with that one person saying, oh, I'd love to talk to you, know more about where you're at, what you're doing, and about your team, the work that you're doing. And just talking to these people, I got 2 interviews, and I reached a final stage for both of them. And fortunately, I got a job at both of them. I got selected, and as you can tell, I chose Microsoft at that point, and it all worked out. And I am here today working with Microsoft, and again, going in the same journey of finding another job. But what I would want to tell at this point is that everything works out at the end. I know it must be like very overwhelming navigating the job search space, but you got this, and you just need to be confident, persistent, and networking with the right people would lead you to, if not the right jobs, maybe the right person you need to talk to get where you are. So definitely keep reaching out, and you got this. And yeah, that is what I have to say about my first job and how I got it. And I'd love to get some questions if I have some time here.
Yeah, Irina, I think we have some questions for you. I can read out for you. So there's one question which says that for referral, is it better to ask for people who work at the similar department rather than other department to get a referral?
I would say more than department, if you have worked with that person a little bit. For example, if you had worked in an internship with that person, it would be more helpful, because some of the companies have a portion where they have to write how much do you know that person, or have you worked with that person to vouch for that person. If it is from the same team, then definitely it's a plus. But if it's from a different team, then it does not matter as much if it's because it just goes to the referral system, and the recruiter is going to look at your resume. So yeah.
Great. So I think there's a question about networking. I think you mentioned that in your talk a lot. So maybe that is covered. There's another question I'm seeing that what is better for fresh grad to go into software development side or management side?
I don't come from a software development background, so I might not be the perfect person for this answer. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. So I think there's another question. So how do you know the right person to connect on LinkedIn? As you said, it was a numbers game for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what I would do is find people with the job title that I wanted to connect with and the companies that I wanted to work at. With big tech companies, there are hundreds of people who have the same job title. So I would just try to find them and just send them connection requests and write to them. So there isn't a formula to find the right person, but yeah, it's a numbers game definitely. And some people are empathetic, or they have also gone through this stage, so they know that reaching out to you is and they want to help you, but some people might be busy, they might not see your messages, so they don't reply to you. So there is not one right answer or one formula for that.
Thank you. I think that's great. There's one question which is related to the different cultures. I think that's very relevant to both Pakistani women computing and Nepali women computing as well. So it says that what might be good and natural to have networking going on, especially for international students, which might have different cultures to communicate.
Could you repeat that once again?
So it says that what is the good and natural way for networking for people from different cultures and how to communicate efficiently in those situations?
Yeah, so for connections, you can be, for communications networking, you can just be honest. It doesn't matter, I feel, which background you come from. You can just be honest and tell them about that you just graduated, you're looking for something, you want to connect with them, and hoping that they will connect back to you. There are also a lot of networking events that happen, like this one, where you meet people from different backgrounds, different cultures, and you can share different experiences that you have. There are so many online communities now that everything is digital, that you can go and seek help from or talk about your experiences. So yeah.
Awesome. So we'll take one more question as we are almost at time. It says that, is it okay to follow up with recruiters and ask for feedback after being rejected?
Yeah, I think it should be totally perfectly fine that you are going back to the recruiter and asking for the feedback. There are chances that you might not get a response back, because I didn't get a response back at that time. But if the recruiter is willing to give you that response, definitely they will reply. I hope they reply, but definitely you can go and ask them.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Irina, for being here and sharing your journey, especially landing your first job and talking about the great points about networking and others. I hope you stick around and connect with others and listen to other talks later today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening to me. Bye.
Bye.